Hello and welcome to Views on News. I'm Jawad Tehami. As the deadline for the repatriation of all the illegal immigrants from Pakistan draws closer, the caretaker Interior Minister, Mr. Sarfraz Bugti, says the government has finalized the plan for repatriation. Now, the repatriation of these illegal immigrants, including the illegal immigrants from Afghanistan, the decision regarding this was made by the Apex Committee earlier this month, and 31st of October was set as a deadline for the voluntary repatriation of all these illegal immigrants. The Interior Minister further has said that there is no possibility of the extension of this particular deadline, and he has also said there are a number of measures the authorities have taken regarding the repatriation of these illegal immigrants in Pakistan, which also includes the establishment of the holding centers, and these illegal immigrants in those holding centers will be provided with medical facilities as well as food. Today we have also seen Pakistan's Army Chief General Sayyid Asim Munir, while talking about the repatriation of the illegal immigrants on the National Security Workshop at the National Defense University, said, let me quote him, that the safety and the security of every Pakistani was of paramount importance and could not be compromised at any cost, unquote. Earlier, we saw that after the Pakistani authorities made this announcement of this deadline of 31st of October, after which if the illegal immigrants don't voluntarily repatriate to their native countries, strict legal action would be taken. There was a sort of reaction from the interim Afghan authorities, with its spokesperson Zabiullah Mujahid at that time criticizing this move of Pakistani authorities. Now we have seen a little bit of change in that stance, with the acting Consul General of Afghanistan in Peshawar saying that Taliban administration does not object to Pakistan's decision regarding undocumented Afghan refugees. In today's show, we'll be talking about this important issue Pakistani authorities and the Pakistani nation is faced with, the repatriation of the illegal immigrants till 31st of October. What sort of measures the caretaker government has taken so far regarding this particular matter, and what needs to be done in the future also. For that, we are honored to have been joined in the studio by Mr. Javed Siddiq, a senior journalist. Mr. Javed, thank you very much for your time, for being with us on the show tonight. We really appreciate that. On Skype at the same time, we are being joined by Mr. Hassan Khan, he's expert of Afghan affairs. Mr. Hassan, thank you very much for your time, also for being with us on Views on News tonight. We really appreciate that. Let me begin the discussion with you, Mr. Javed. Let's start from the very basics. Why do you think it was important for Pakistan, the Pakistani nation, to go for this particular move, the repatriation of the illegal immigrants?
I think no nation in the world would allow illegal immigrants or foreign nationals to live on its soil without valid documents. Pakistanis who have gone abroad in various countries in Europe, Central Asia, and elsewhere, they were rounded up by the relevant government authorities, and they landed in jails because they didn't have the valid documents, passports, etc. So this is an international law, international practice, that if somebody is living in another country without valid documents, without a valid passport, or any other document that allows him to live in that country, if he doesn't possess that, he is likely to be expelled or repatriated to the relevant country. So the decision was made at the Apex Committee, as you said in your intro, because some elements in Pakistan were involved in illegal activities. They were involved in crimes, they were involved in terrorism, and they were involved in other financial crimes in this country. So it had become necessary to get rid of these people, to round them up and repatriate them to their relevant countries, to the countries which they belong. So this process was started. A decision was taken because the law and order situation in Pakistan was getting out of control. And the authorities concerned, they found out that behind the most heinous crimes, there were some foreign elements involved. So the decision was made to secure the life and property of the citizens of Pakistan. And some of these people, some of these foreign elements were found that they were facilitating the terrorist activity in Pakistan. They were providing, they were camouflaging the terrorists and the militants and the extremists in Pakistan who were involved in terrorist activities, who were involved in ruthless killing of people in Pakistan. Security forces were being attacked, police officials were attacked, and innocent citizens were being targeted by these people. So it had become a necessity to repatriate such elements. Now, the problem is that the common perception is that it is directed against the Afghan nationals, which is not the case. In fact, the government has made it clear, the Interior Minister today made it very clear that this is not an Afghan specific operation. This is an operation against all those people living in Pakistan without valid documents and belonging to any country of the world. But interestingly or coincidentally, the large number of people living in Pakistan belong to Afghanistan, because Pakistan has been hosting Afghans for the last 4 decades, and almost 4 million Afghan refugees came into Pakistan following the invasion of Afghanistan by the Soviet forces. And since then, Afghanistan has been unstable and there was no peace in that country, and a large number of Afghans had been coming to Pakistan to get refuge here. The people who have been registered with the government of Pakistan or with UNHCR, they are allowed to live here and they have the valid documents. They are here doing businesses. They are doing all sorts of activity in Pakistan, which is basically within the 4 parameters of law. So they are not being harassed or they are not being asked to leave. Only those elements who do not have any valid document to live in Pakistan, he has to go. And that's a very simple principle.
Right. Mr. Hassan, as Mr. Javed has mentioned, that there is a common perception that this particular exercise is basically focused against the people who belong to Afghanistan. In fact, it happens to be a coincidence that the majority of the illegal immigrants were based here in Pakistan without proper legal documentation. They are from Afghanistan. So there is no reality that this particular exercise is in fact directed towards the people from Afghanistan only. Your understanding regarding that?
Look, I think this is a very basic thing. Sometimes I get confused that this issue, which Pakistan has taken a decision to implement its national laws, though Javed Saab has rightly mentioned that there are international laws too. But as for this decision is concerned, it's purely concerned with our national law. If somebody violates our laws, so definitely he will be treated according to the law. If somebody violated traffic lights, so definitely he has violated the law of the land. So any person who is not a Pakistani citizen and he enters Pakistan without proper valid documents and so he has violated the law of the land, and the law will be enforced. So I think this decision, it is a right decision, and it should have been taken much earlier. And instead of pronouncing it with such a big one fear, as it has aroused the antennas and the entire world, and especially the Afghan diaspora and their sympathizers who are using it as a propaganda against Pakistan, I think the government shall have simply asked the police that whosoever is illegally residing in a jurisdiction of a certain police station, there is a Foreigners Act, so he or she shall be arrested under that act. But unfortunately, when there's, I'm not saying unfortunately, I think the government has given a big favor to these illegal foreign nationals when they were given 1 month notice. I think otherwise they were not deserving to be given a 1 month notice, but it is a big favor to them that the government has given them a 1 month notice that pack up your belonging and go back to your respective countries And now that date is getting closer. I think it's hardly 4 5 days are left. So definitely, I'm not sure, and I will not be supporting if the government extend this deadline. The government need to, I think, implement the law, the national law. The national law says, as per the Pakistani laws, you and me must have certain documents. One must have a certain registration. So either you are coming to Pakistan with a permission, like you have a visa to enter the Pakistan territory, the Pakistani border, or you are given as a special, like a refugee status, or an Afghan. Because in Pakistan there are so many Afghans, millions of Afghans who are living in Pakistan for more than 4 decades, and there are millions of them who are not registered. But as for this decision is concerned, it is purely for those who doesn't have any documents, so who just cross the border, maybe paying some bribe, etc., to the border officials, the border guards, etc. And now they are in Pakistan. So I think uh, Pakistan shall have, instead of, but this is a big favor that a 1 month notice is given. Otherwise, a local police station shall have been instructed that whosoever residing in your area and he is not a Pakistani citizen and he is not having a valid document, he or she shall be sent back to their country. And unfortunately, sometimes I am shocked when, especially the media, especially the Western media, when they are clubbing it with the human rights issues or things like that, Pakistan is violating, or Pakistan should consider it on the basis of human rights, and we are observing the way the same media is trampling the rights of the Palestinian. The same media is violating, is completely mum over the international laws regarding attacking another nation. But on this, when Pakistan's desire, Pakistan has decided that that particular law will be implemented against whosoever, whether somebody is from Iraq, somebody is from Iran, or somebody is from whichever country is. So if he is not having a valid documents, if he is not having a valid permission, he or she shall be arrested and sent back to their respective countries.
So, Mr. Hassan Khan, as you already mentioned, the Pakistani authorities actually gave a favor of this particular 1 month for the illegal immigrants to repatriate voluntarily. In this particular time frame, when we talk about Mr. Sirfraz Bugti also in his presser and also giving a briefing to the Senate Standing Committee on Interior, talking about the voluntary repatriation and also facilitating all those illegal immigrants in those holding centers with medical facilities as well as food. Why do you think the propagandists or the Western media or those people who are criticizing this particular move on the basis of the taking the pretext, in fact, of the international law, why do they overlook this particular time frame of a favor by the Pakistani authorities given to these all illegal immigrants without any proper documentation?
I think this is a very crucial question, and this I will definitely also point finger to our own policy makers that when we announced it, it was taken by even our own media and then there was a sort of crackdown, particularly in certain cities in Pakistan, like in Lahore and in Karachi. Before this, when this decision was just taken against the Afghan national, so that particular images, when those images are the pictures were released to the social media and they gone viral, that Pakistan has started taking action against the Afghans without claiming it that these are the illegal Afghans, and that goes on for a week or two. Even the Afghan government also retaliated, and there was a type of in the media, particularly the international media, it was taken as Pakistan has decided, and those stingers are those people who were contributing to the international media, whether the Western, the American, or the Middle Eastern media from Pakistan. They also intentionally or unintentionally avoided to explain it, that this decision is not against all the Afghans who are here as refugees having the POR card, are they are registered with the UNHCR, are they registered with the Pakistani authorities? But they just, without mentioning it, without explaining it, and there was a time that Pakistan has taken decision that Afghan national will be sent back to their country, and then another I think I will say, I will use the word wrong, was that this decision was taken at a time when Kabul and Islamabad were having a bit of strained relation over the attack, because the decision was taken on the back of September 6 developments, when the TTP terrorists launched attack in Chitral, and simultaneously the Afghan Taliban border guards, they launched an attack. They opened fire at the Torkham checkpost. So when these two accidents happened, and after that, it took a week or two when Chitral was clear, and the TTP terrorists were pushed back across Afghanistan, and then a formal displeasure was launched by the Foreign Office with the Afghan authority, with their opening of fire at the border and the Pakistani guards. So this decision was taken on the back of those developments. So people considered it as if Pakistan is annoyed over the attitude of the Kabul administration, of the Amarati Islami. So that's the reason that now Pakistan is arm twisting the Taliban administration. So this was something, I think it was the timing of the decision, and two, it is the reporting, the way this issue is being reported from Islamabad to other capitals of the world, and then the Afghan diaspora in the Western world, or in the US, or in the other developed countries, coupled with the with those countries who are historically anti-Pakistan. So I think it was given a boost on social media. It was given a boost on the in the print also. So that's the reason. And we Pakistani, unfortunately, instead of upfront responding to this propaganda, we take a type of an apologist approach. And the way we were explaining it, I think, maybe I'm wrong, but I can say that we were not that robust, we were not that frontal on it. So the field was taken over by the others from us. So that's the reason that propaganda is still holding its ground against Pakistan.
Very pertinently mentioned these two major reasons that you put forth, Mr. Hassan Khan, the timing of this particular decision on the part of the authorities and the kind of reporting from here, from Islamabad to the other capitals of the world, perhaps led to that particular misconception. We are now joined by another participant in the show, Brigadier retired Sajjad Nazir, senior analyst. Brigadier Nazir, thank you very much for your time, for being with us on Views on News tonight. Really appreciate that. As we are discussing the repatriation of the illegal immigrants from Pakistan, the deadline associated with it that draws closer, the 31st of October. Our participants, Mr. Javed, Siddiq, is of the view there is a general perception regarding this particular exercise being focused against the people belonging to Afghanistan, which is completely a misperception. In fact, it is a coincidence that majority of those illegal immigrants happen to be of the Afghan origin. The reasons which have been put forth by Mr. Hassan Khan regarding the timing of this decision and the kind of reporting done regarding this particular decision have also added to those misconceptions. What's your understanding of it?
Thank you. Indeed, it's a burning issue between Pakistan and Amarat-e-Islami Afghanistan. And especially this issue is too old, almost more than 40 years. That once Soviet Union invaded Afghanistan and the refugees came to Pakistan, and at that time the whole West was with Pakistan. Even the Islamic world was with Pakistan, that these people should be accommodated because they have been facing the persecution in Afghanistan. So that's why they were given shelter, and Pakistani people and Pakistani government provided all sort of facilities whatsoever was available. And they were welcomed, they were homed, they were cared, and they were nurtured. Everything was done. And then they started settling here. But unfortunately, we didn't registered them properly and we didn't prevailed in a way that there should be a proper policy for them, where they are to be kept and how they are to be kept and who is supposed to support them and what will be their some restriction or some sort of facilitation. So all those things didn't happen because it was abrupt. Second thing is that when the Mujahideen government came in, so of course then they should have gone because they came to Pakistan because of the Russian occupation. But they never created a full sector for their citizens. And then of course the NATO and America came and then Ashraf Ghani and Karzai government was there. And now Amarat Islami is there. But still those people have come on one pretext and the other. So the first pretext was that probably their life is in danger and they are the registered refugees with the UN as well as with Pakistan. But the other migrants, which are for the business purposes or for the economy purposes, and second thing is those who have stayed almost 900,000 who have stayed their visas and they have expired. And more so there are who have come from the border areas and they are also come only on their Tazkira, which is their identity card. And they don't have any travel proper documents, which is passport or visa, etc. And another aspect is there that they live with their families or with the remote areas. And of course, it is a problem for Pakistan how to tackle them. So for that reason, this particular decision was taken because out of 24 attacks which occurred in Pakistan from the TTP or from the Daesh, so in that about 16 attacks there the Afghan nationals were found and some were from the refugees. So that was one. Another aspect was that the dollar smuggling was so much and Pakistan was almost economically getting down on that illegal smuggling which was taking place. That was another aspect. Third thing was that illegal Afghan transit trade, where the people used to take their goods there, and those containers were not properly documented or searched, etc. That was another aspect. And more so, these people were in nooks and corners in urban centers of Pakistan. So naturally, they were a sort of element which was creating a sort of disturbance. And especially when some occasions came where they protested against Pakistan and rather sloganeered against Pakistan. So naturally, Pakistan then thought that there should be a proper documentation. Those who are illegal immigrants, that the definition is all those. That may be Burmese, or that may be the Bangladeshis, or that may be Taiwanese, or any country. So they have to be deported. And they started deporting them, but of course, as Hassan Khan has said, that it was given a different spin, which was unfortunate. But to me, I suppose the decision taken is right, because the Afghan Consul General, Mr. Hafiz, has also said that it is the Pakistan internal affair, and the way they want to treat the illegal, that is their prerogative.
That is exactly, Brigadier Nazir, I seek your pardon for the interjection over here. That was exactly the point I was about to bring the discussion towards and take your view regarding this particular new stance that has been put forth by the interim Afghan authorities. Hafiz Mohibullah Shakir, the acting Consul General of Afghan Consulate in Peshawar, says that the Taliban does not object to Pakistan's decision regarding undocumented Afghan refugees. Now, when the Pakistani authorities made this decision earlier this month, there was a reaction by the Taliban administration at that time, with its spokesperson Zabiullah Mujahid at that time criticizing this move and saying that this particular Pakistan's authorities' behavior towards Afghan refugees was unacceptable. So within this time span, do you see what led to this shift of the view regarding the repatriation of these illegal immigrants, which from earlier criticism now towards acceptance?
Probably they were sort of playing with a pressure tactics that if they say that they are not acceptable, so naturally Pakistan will extend the date or Pakistan will revisit its decision, but that didn't happen. That particular thing didn't happen. One. Second thing, that there was no reciprocity from the Afghan side so that they could also facilitate their citizens and have a sort of coordinated efforts with Pakistan that how they are to be repatriated, and more so the way they claim that Afghanistan is calm, cool, and there is prevailing, and general amnesty has been announced. So why there should be people in Pakistan who says that government or Afghanistan is not the conducive environments are not there. So it was the responsibility of the Amarat-e-Islami to produce those or create those able environment for them so that they couldn't go back. And third thing was that according to the international law and otherwise the homeland law, that law is supposed to be respected. Otherwise, the Pakistanis are going to also to Afghanistan, but they go with the proper documents, that is visa and passports and all those things. So, and the third thing is that if they would have not cooperated, so then Afghanistan is quite firmly dependent on Pakistan as far as the health is concerned, and more so the education is concerned, and more so the trade is concerned, and so many things. So that dependency would have really affected that particular facilitation which Pakistan has provided, which would have been to the detriment of the Amarat-e-Islami. And more so, I suppose the problems are not solved through the social media or sloganeering or name-calling. It is supposed to be between the two governments, and they are supposed to sit together and they sort out the matter so that their respect is not violated, and more so they are repatriated peacefully, and both governments work on the same page and agree to the particular facilitation, etc. But unfortunately, that was not happening. So now probably the sense has prevailed, and now it is going to be done. However, I may see that there could be, it may be taking more, but probably more than 90,000 illegal immigrants have been sent back, and daily on 1,000 basis it is being repatriated, and the holding centers have also been established. And if right. After the deadline, if somebody remains here in Pakistan and he is illegal, so naturally then the law will be there. But of course, I must say that the law must prevail, but in a way that it doesn't violate the human respect or doesn't bedevil the relation between the two countries.
Right, Brigadier retired Sajjad Nazir, analyst, joining us on the phone line. Thank you very much for being with us on the show tonight. We really appreciate that. Mr. Javed, now going back to that very particular question, as Mr. Hassan Khan mentioned, that it was actually the favor that the Pakistani authorities gave to all those illegal immigrants. Why, as per your, he gave his understanding of the reasons regarding that very misconception that perhaps this particular exercise was actually focused towards the people of the Afghan origin. Why do you think this particular exercise had been misperceived? What were the reasons according to you?
I think the first reason is that a large number of hundreds of thousands of foreign nationals who are living in Pakistan belong to Afghanistan. And this is because first the Soviet Union invaded Afghanistan in 70s and 80s, late 70s, 80s, and almost 4 million Afghan refugees came to Pakistan. Some of them, and most of them in fact, were basically issued documents by UNHCR, because Pakistan has been praised and eulogized for hosting such a big number of Afghans during that war, and 4 million people came here. Some went to Iran. Even today, UN has issued a report in which it has acknowledged that large majority of Afghan refugees were hosted by Pakistan and Iran. So they have been here. But then when the American invaded Afghanistan, more refugees came to Pakistan because of porous border, because of the relaxed conditions on our Pak-Afghan border, a large number of Afghans came to Pakistan. And I think the border authorities, they were also very lenient to these Afghans. They allowed them to come because some of these Afghans used to come to Pakistan for working inside Pakistan and then going back to Afghanistan. So that is the reason that a large number of illegal Afghans started living in Pakistan. They were being facilitated by their relatives. Some of them were being facilitated by Pakistanis. And in his press conference, the Interior Minister said that we have also found those people who were facilitating these illegal people living in Pakistan through geofencing. We have found out those people who were actually being accommodated, being camouflaged by their Pakistani facilitators. So they have found them out, and in big cities like Karachi, Lahore, Islamabad, Rawalpindi, and cities around Islamabad and Rawalpindi, hundreds of thousands of Afghans were living without valid documents, without passports, without any residence visa. So that is the reason that because of these illegal immigrants were comprising a large number of Afghans, so therefore this operation seems to be directed or focused against Afghanistan. That's not true. I think other illegal immigrants belonging to Bangladesh and some of them Burma and other countries, they are also on the radar. And I think the Interior Ministry and other authorities are also finding them and tracing them, and they have been asked to leave. This order is not particularly for Afghans. This order is for all those people who are living illegally in Pakistan and violating the law of Pakistan. Another aspect is that Afghans are very sensitive because Pakistan is the next door neighbor, and Pakistan is a transit route for the trade with Afghanistan. Pakistan is basically giving a lot of facilities to Afghanistan and the people of Afghanistan. It's a landlocked country, and Pakistan is providing the basic essential eatables and other things to Afghanistan. The wheat and rice and other eatables, they go through Pakistan, and Pakistan is an exporter of these eatable items, edible items. So I think that is the reason that Afghans are very sensitive, and they are painting this whole scenario or a picture that is as if it is against the Afghan nationals, of people belonging to Afghan. That's not the case, and it has been made clear by our foreign minister and foreign office spokesperson that this operation is not directed against Afghanistan or the people of Afghanistan, just because a large number of illegal immigrants in Pakistan belong to Afghanistan. It is a coincidence. So this has been, I think the media has also played a role in creating a big impression that this is directed against Afghans. Therefore, I think the initial reaction of the interim government in Afghanistan was...
I'll come to you for your detailed view regarding what led to the shift in that particular reaction from an earlier criticism now towards acceptance. Mr. Hassan Khan, your understanding, what do you analyze? What led to this particular shift of the reaction when it was initially criticism on the part of the interim Afghan authorities towards this decision of the Pakistani authorities now towards acceptance? What led to that? I think we have lost the connection from Mr. Hassan Khan. Mr. Javed, please go ahead. What led to this shift of reaction?
I think they have finally realized, the Afghan interim government, that whatever Pakistan is doing is not illegal. It's not directed against Afghanistan. And they have realized it, and that's why some of the representatives have said that Pakistan has taken this decision rightfully. And it is their right to take action against those people who are living illegally on their soil. And no country in the world would allow illegal immigrants to live in their country, A. B, I think some of the Afghan nationals were found involved in some criminal activity in Pakistan. particularly some of them were involved in the terrorist activity in Pakistan, in KPK in Balochistan. Also, drug smuggling, drug pushing, drug running is also an area where some Afghan nationals were found to be playing a very important key role. And in other crimes like dacoities, and burglaries, etc., the Afghans were involved. And therefore, the people at large, common people in Pakistan, in major cities, they thought that Afghans living in Pakistan are basically involved in such crimes, antisocial activities, and they need to be weeded out. And that was a common perception here. I think that is
So what actually led to that shift of the reaction from the interim Afghan authorities towards this particular decision? I'll come back to you. Let me once again go back to Mr. Hassan Khan. Mr. Hassan Khan, what do you understand? What led to this particular shift of the interim Afghan authorities? Earlier we saw Zabiullah Mujahid criticizing this Pakistan authorities' move. Now there is a somewhat different stance. What's your understanding?
Yeah, I think this is indeed a major shift. Initially, I think, like too many others, maybe the Afghan authorities, especially the Kabul authority, misunderstood it. That if Pakistan has taken the decision just to push all the Afghans, irrespective of being illegal or illegal or refugees, etc. Number one, I think. Two, they were expecting that if there is a pressure on Pakistan, like they called for a tripartite meeting on the refugees, which Pakistan has categorically said, if there is no need of calling a tripartite meetings because we are just implementing our law, and the law says that whosoever is residing in my country without having a proper documents, he or she shall be expelled to his own country too. So this was, I think, the basic, and they realized that now Pakistan has taken a decision, and this is not like the earlier decisions when such decisions were taken. So a certain segment of society within Pakistan, certain organizations within Pakistan, when they criticize the government decisions, when certain political entities criticize the government decisions, so the decisions were reverted. This time, the government is sending signals to the Afghans, to the illegal nationals in Pakistan, and to the international community that this decision has been taken and it will not be reverted. It comes October 31st, we will start taking action against those who are not voluntarily going back to their country during this month. So I think these things have these things have sent a very clear message to Kabul also that we have taken this decision against the illegals, foreign nationals. So Afghans are not to be differentiated. That if it is only against Afghans, and even if it is against Afghans, I think sometimes Tehami, I'm confused why we Pakistanis become apologetic and trying to find reason for this decision. Let's say, suppose Javed Sahib is my senior, and definitely I have a lot of respect for him, and I have learned a lot from him. And he is a known journalist across the country, and I have visited with him also outside Pakistan. But here, it's a bit of disagreement from my side that if an Afghan, he is in Pakistan and he is not involved in any criminal activity, but he is illegally living here. So will we allowed him to stay here? No. I think already he is illegal. So whether he is involved in a criminal activities or he is not involved in a criminal activity, if he is in Pakistan without having a certain documents, without having the refugee status, without having being registered with the UNHCR or with the Ministry of Interior, so whether he is involved in a criminal activity or not, whether Hassan or Javed Sahib or Tehami want him to be here, if I say, no, Mr. So-and-so are my friend and he shall be allowed to stay in Pakistan, so is it a justification for him if a certain segment of a society, of a Pakistani society, or a people, or an ethnic community want that this group of people shall be allowed to stay in Pakistan and be discriminated Discriminated mean they shall not be asked to produce valid document. So I think these are not proper, what we call it, a proper explanation for this decision. I have taken this decision because this is the law of my land, and the law is categorically saying that whosoever enter this country will have my permission, will have a visa stamped by me. And if he is not having that visa, if he is not having that permission, so he is illegal. He will be arrested by my police, by my security guy, and I will send him back. So that's simple. So that's, I think we need to be very clear and very upfront and non-apologetic.
Whether somebody is involved in illegal activity or not, he should have the permission and the legal documentation with him to have that right of residing in this particular country. Very quickly, Mr. Hassan, when we talk about this very gigantic exercise, also Interior Minister Mr. Sarfraz Bugti mentioning certain challenges associated with this. Once this is completed, how crucial do you think border security and border management afterwards would be?
I think this is a very crucial question. Look, even today, you might have seen the people coming on the street in Chaman and Spinbuldak resisting this decision that the passport policy shall not be implemented at Chaman or Spinbuldak border. So I think we need to sort it out. I'm not saying that we just pick up the guns and say, no, this is final. I think we need to sort it out. We need to negotiate. And definitely, I think this is a huge task, right? 1.73 million people, only Afghans. I'm not talking of the rest, the Burmese, the Iranian, the Nigerians, the Iraqis, etc. I'm talking only of the Afghans. So I think it is a huge exercise. So definitely, I see that for government, it is not possible to have so many trucks and to load them and just put them across the border. So definitely, I think the government will be working on it. They will be trying to find certain solutions, whether extend this date or if they are extended this date. Definitely, they are now working, trying to find out a way like, let's take these people to a certain place where they shall be encamped, and from there they will be deported back, because you can't put so many people in jail. So definitely now I heard Mr. Bugti saying that certain centers will be created called markazes will be created where these people will be put there and they will be gradually transported across the country. But I think the very crucial thing is now managing the border. Unfortunately, you go to the Torgam, it is the mismanaged border. Chaman, there is no border at all. Just people, thousands of people are crisscrossing the zero line. You got maybe I haven't been to Kharlachi or to Tirimangal border, or for that matter to Ghulam Khan or Angurada. But definitely, I think we have. I'm not talking of the rest of the border, which is for us. I'm talking of the border points which are not properly managed. So I think Pakistan need to take actions and have a bit of investment here to manage it. So if these people are sent back, may they not return the next day, just paying a few hundred bucks or a few hundred rupees to, unfortunately, it happens everywhere in the world. It's not only in Pakistan, even in the US, and just enter back to Pakistan.
Mr. Hassan Khan, expert of Afghan affairs, joining us on Skype. Thank you very much for being with us on Views on News tonight. Really appreciate that. Mr. Javed Siddiq, senior journalist, joining us in the studio. Thank you very much for your time also for being with us on the show tonight. Really appreciate that. With that, we come to the end of today's episode. Thank you very much for watching.